Imagine two neighbours living side by side, sharing a fence and a history, yet behind their doors they cultivate distinct lives, customs, and paths to the future. This is the tale of Czechia and Poland, two Central European countries closely linked by geography, but carved into uniqueness by the divergent forces of history. In this journey, we will explore how centuries of shared battles, separate peacetimes, and individual cultural flourishes have shaped these nations into the modern identities that we see today. Join us as we unravel the intricate tapestry of connections and distinctions that define Czechia and Poland. Step back in time to when the lands we now call Czechia and Poland were filled with ancient forests and roamed by people whose stories are etched in artifacts rather than pages. By the 9th century, these lands began to whisper their first tales of statehood. Bohemia emerged under the Przemysl dynasty, and the Polans founded what would evolve into the Kingdom of Poland. As the Middle Ages unfurled, both regions flourished under the auspices of Christianity, which sculpted their cultural and political landscapes. Yet, even as they shared the bonds of geography and faith, their paths diverged. The Golden Bull of 1212 declared Bohemia a kingdom, while Poland, under the Piast dynasty, navigated a labyrinth of alliances and hostilities, expanding its borders through marriages and wars. This era set the stage for their intertwined yet distinct histories, laying foundational contrasts in governance and cultural identity that ring through the ages. Bohemia, nestled in the heart of Europe, became a significant power within the Holy Roman Empire, renowned for its fierce intellect and architectural marvels like Prague St. Vitus Cathedral. Its strategic location and cultural vibrancy positioned it as a central hub in European politics and thought, enhancing its role within the empire. Simultaneously, during the Renaissance, Poland entered into a union with Lithuania, forming the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in 1569. This union created a dual state that was one of the largest and most populous of the era, extending from the Baltic to the Black Sea. It exemplified a unique blend of democratic principles with its elective monarchy and was a significant European power that influenced politics, religion, and culture across the region. This era not only bolstered Poland's stature, but also enriched its culture, promoting religious tolerance and a flourishing of the arts and sciences. While the Renaissance ignited a spark of intellectual and artistic revival across Europe, Czechia and Poland nurtured this flame in unique ways. In Czechia, the shadows of the Gothic cathedrals were brightened by the Renaissance's touch, yet the region was soon ensnared in the throes of the Bohemian Reformation, which predated and inspired wider European religious upheavals. This led to the infamous Defenestration of Prague, a catalyst for the brutal 30 Years' War that destroyed the land and decimated its population. Meanwhile, Poland experienced a cultural renaissance under the Jagiellonian dynasty, transforming Krakow into a crucible of intellectual and artistic activity. The establishment of the Jagiellonian University became a pinnacle of Renaissance scholarship, drawing luminaries such as Copernicus, who would challenge the very structure of the cosmos. Politically, Poland strengthened its governance structures, pioneering the liberum veto, which underscored a unique form of parliamentary democracy that contrasted sharply with Czechia's turmoil and Habsburg imposition. As the 19th century unfurled, Poland, dismembered and absorbed by Russia, Prussia, and Austria, became a crucible of resistance and nationalistic fervour. Despite being partitioned and devoid of independence, the spirit of the Polish people blazed brightly. The November Uprising of 1830 and the January Uprising of 1863 were bold, albeit ultimately unsuccessful, attempts to reclaim their sovereignty. Polish Romantic literature, spearheaded by poets like Adam Mickiewicz and Juliusz Słowacki, stoked the fires of national identity, painting a vision of freedom that transcended political boundaries. Meanwhile, in Czechia, the national revival breathed new life into Czech culture, against the backdrop of the Austro-Hungarian Empire's dominance. This cultural renaissance culminated in the founding of Prague's National Theatre, a symbol of linguistic and artistic resurgence. The Czechs' quest for identity was more cultural than militaristic, contrasting with Poland's tumultuous uprisings. World War II marked a dark chapter for both nations. For Czechoslovakia, the Munich Agreement of 1938 was a profound betrayal, as it sacrificed Czechoslovakia's territorial integrity to appease Nazi Germany. This event inflicted a profound wound on the Czechoslovak people and remains a poignant symbol of enduring injustice. The subsequent occupation saw Czechoslovakia subjected to Nazi rule until the end of World War II, marked by acts of resistance and repression. Poland's experience was characterized by the sudden and brutal invasion by Germany in 1939, which shattered the country's independence and sovereignty. The heroic defense of Poland against overwhelming odds, particularly during the Battle of Warsaw, symbolized the nation's fierce determination to resist aggression. The Warsaw Uprising of 1944, while ultimately unsuccessful, exemplified Poland's enduring spirit of resistance against Nazi oppression. The Cold War era reshaped the geopolitical landscape of Central Europe, casting Czechia and Poland into the sphere of Soviet influence. Yet, each responded to this pressure cooker of history with distinct narratives. In Czechoslovakia, the 1948 communist coup d'etat heralded a rigid imposition of Soviet-style governance, stifling the political and cultural freedoms that had blossomed during the interwar period. The Prague Spring of 1968 marked a brief, hopeful resurgence of freedom and reform, but this was crushed under the treads of Soviet tanks, reasserting a harsh system that would not ease until the Velvet Revolutions of 1989. For Poland, the Cold War period was marked by the dominance of a Soviet-backed authoritarian regime, which vigorously repressed political dissent and enforced economic policies aligned with Soviet interests. The 1980s were particularly tumultuous, highlighted by the rise of the Solidarity movement, a massive anti-government and pro-democracy wave led by figures like Lech Wałęsa. This movement, despite facing severe crackdowns, eventually played a pivotal role in Poland's transition away from communism. The period also witnessed severe economic challenges, leading to widespread unrest and contributing to the eventual decline of communist authority by 1989. As the Iron Curtain cast shadows over Europe, the paths of Czechia and Poland diverged significantly in their methods of resistance and adaptation. Poland's engagement in overt political struggle, marked by the Solidarity movement, contrasted with Czechia's quieter, more cultural defiance, setting the stage for their different transitions out of communism. As we delve deeper into Czechia and Poland, you bring these stories to life. Keep liking and sharing to help me continue this journey. Don't forget to subscribe and share your insights in the comments as we continue to explore the world together. As the dust settled after the Cold War, Czechoslovakia and Poland emerged not just as liberated nations, but architects of their own futures. In 1993, Czechoslovakia split into the Czech Republic and Slovakia through the Velvet Divorce, a peaceful separation that allowed each new country to pursue tailored political and economic strategies. Czechia, drawing strength from its resilient spirit, forged during times of struggle, diligently harnessed its industrial heritage and cultivated a highly educated workforce to attract foreign investment. Through determined efforts and inspired by the words of leaders like Václav Havel, Czechia steadily transformed into one of Europe's most stable and well-run economies. Poland's journey was marked by its vigorous pursuit of economic independence and democratization. The transformation was spearheaded by the bold reforms of the early 1990s, including the remarkable changes witnessed in Warsaw, symbolizing Poland's remarkable economic growth. This bold reform process, combined with Poland's strategic utilization of EU funds post-2004 recession, propelled it into a position of regional leadership and economic prominence. Both nations have since played pivotal roles in the European Union. Czechia has focused on technological advancements, leveraging its innovative spirit to contribute to the EU's forward march. Meanwhile, Poland's economic growth, epitomized by the vast changes seen in Warsaw, has bolstered its position as a key player in Europe. Additionally, Poland has asserted itself through substantial military spending, showcasing its commitment to regional security and stability. In Czechia, a rich tradition of secularism and intellectualism defines its cultural identity. The cafes of Prague buzz with the legacy of thinkers like Kafka and Havel, reflecting a society that values deep philosophical discussions and artistic expression. The influence of historical figures such as Václav the Good and the defiant priest Jan Hus feeds into a strong sense of national pride grounded in a history of resistance and reform. Contrastingly, Poland's cultural fabric is deeply interwoven with its Catholic faith, which has not only shaped its holidays and traditions, but also bolstered national resilience against historical oppressions. Events like the annual pilgrimage to the Jasna Góra Monastery in Częstochowa, a site revered by millions of faithful believers, exemplifies the profound spiritual dedication that influences everything from politics to personal identity in Poland. Moreover, the influence of Polish native Pope John Paul II, whose papacy had a profound impact on the nation's spiritual and moral consciousness, remains deeply ingrained within the Polish people, serving as a beacon of hope and inspiration. Czechia and Poland, aligned in their regional interests within the European Union, also navigate distinct paths shaped by differing migration trends and monetary policies. While Poland has witnessed significant emigration, driving its strong advocacy within the EU for policies that support mobility and the right of its expatriates, it has retained the zloty, reflecting a cautious stance towards adopting the euro amidst concerns over economic sovereignty. Conversely, Czechia experiences lower emigration rates, supported by a stable economy, and continues to use the Czech crown. This decision underscores its emphasis on maintaining economic flexibility to address local conditions and foster domestic innovation. Together, these approaches enhance their bilateral collaboration on security and infrastructure, strengthening their partnership. As they navigate these issues, Czechia and Poland leverage their unique perspectives to bolster their influence and shape the future of Europe. Czechia and Poland, steeped in history, yet charting distinct paths. exemplify the resilience and diversity of Central Europe. Czechia thrives on stability and innovation, while Poland navigates a dynamic political scene alongside its economic growth. Together, these stories of contrast and collaboration shape their pivotal roles on the European stage. For more captivating adventures and explorations of incredible places around the world, click on the video on screen now. Your next journey awaits. Happy travels!